What do you do when a child's trembling arms wrap around you, mistaking you for someone who abandoned her? I'm Rachel Lynon, a 34-year-old high school art teacher in Springfield, Missouri, where Saturday mornings mean grocery runs and quiet visits to my mother's house to help with chores while she recovers from knee surgery. My life is steady, predictable, built on routines that keep me grounded, until today, when a little girl's desperate hug turned my world upside down. I was pushing my cart through the Springfield Market, half lost in the hum of my ordinary day when it happened. The fluorescent lights buzz overhead, the air carries the warm scent of fresh bread from the bakery, and George Strait's voice croons softly through the speakers. I'm in a green sweater and jeans, my hair in a loose ponytail, my phone buried in my purse under reusable bags. Nothing about this morning hints at the chaos waiting just beyond the cereal aisle. But there's a prickle in my chest now, a whisper that something is about to shift. I weave past the produce section, tossing bananas into my cart, their yellow skins bright against the dull metal. The store is alive with the usual Saturday bustle, kids darting between carts, parents debating cereal brands, the clink of glass jars mingling with chatter. I'm checking my list, mentally mapping my route to the breakfast aisle, when I feel it, a small, warm grip around my legs. I look down, and there she is, a girl, maybe 5, with messy blonde pigtails and wide, tear-streaked blue eyes. Her yellow sundress, patterned with tiny white daisies, is slightly wrinkled, and her pink sandals look too big, like hand-me-downs. She presses her cheek against my jeans and whispers, "Mommy." The word trembles, heavy with something I can't place. Fear, longing, or both. My breath catches. I'm not a mother, never have been, but the weight of her trust pins me to the spot. "Sweetheart, I'm not your mom," I say gently, crouching to her level. Her hands tighten on my sweater, clutching as if I'm the only safe thing in this crowded store. Her eyes search mine, brimming with tears, and my heart twists. I've always liked kids. Teaching art to teenagers means I'm used to their chaos, but this is different. She's so small, so fragile, and clearly lost. "Are you okay? Where's your family?" I ask, scanning the aisle for a frantic parent. The cereal boxes loom like colorful sentinels, but no one rushes forward. Shoppers pass by, some glancing curiously, others too absorbed in their lists to notice. I expect her to let go, to realize her mistake, but she doesn't. Instead, she buries her face against my shoulder, her breath hitching. "Why did you leave?" she whispers, the words cracking like thin ice. I freeze, unsure how to respond. "Honey, I think you've got me mixed up with someone else," I say softly, brushing a strand of hair from her face. Her pigtails are uneven, like someone rushed to tie them this morning. I want to stand, to find a store employee, but her grip is unrelenting, her small body trembling against me. I glance around again, hoping for a familiar face, maybe Mrs. Carter from the farmer's market or one of my students' parents, but the faces are strangers, their eyes flickering with mild interest or indifference. The store feels louder now, the hum of voices and carts sharper in my ears. I rest a hand on the girl's back, feeling her shallow breaths, and decide to walk her toward the customer service desk. But before I can move, heavy footsteps echo from the end of the aisle, fast and purposeful. I turn my head, and a tall man rounds the corner, his broad shoulders filling with space. He's in his early 40s, wearing a wrinkled plaid shirt and dark jeans, his face pale and locked in an expression I can't read, shock, anger, or something darker. His eyes meet mine, and he stops a few feet away, pulling a phone from his pocket. "It's her," he says into it, his voice low and sharp, like he's confirming a hunt. My stomach lurches. I don't know him, but his certainty, the way he stares, makes the air feel too thin. The girl clings tighter, her fingers digging into my sweater. Whatever this is, it's not a simple misunderstanding. The store's lights seem to brighten, the walls closing in, and I realize I'm holding my breath, waiting for what comes next. The man's words hang in the air like a threat, his phone still pressed to his ear as he lowers it slowly, his gaze never leaving mine. I straighten up as best I can, with the girl in my arms, her weight shifting against me, but she doesn't loosen her hold. Her small hands are fisted in my sweater now, pulling the fabric taut, and I can feel the rapid beat of her heart through her thin dress. The aisle feels narrower, the colorful boxes of cereal pressing in like witnesses to whatever unfolds next. "Who are you talking to?" I ask, my voice steadier than I feel, but he ignores me, pocketing the phone with a deliberate motion. His eyes flick to the girl briefly, then back to me, and there's something in his expression, a mix of triumph and rage, that sends a chill down my spine. I don't know this man, but he looks at me like I've stolen something irreplaceable from him. "You're not going anywhere," he says, taking a step closer, his voice low and edged with warning. I hold my ground, shifting the girl higher on my hip to keep her secure. She's quiet now, her face hidden against my neck, but her breathing is uneven, like she's fighting back sobs. "I don't know who you are," I reply firmly, "and I don't know this child. You need to step back." But he doesn't. Instead, he advances another step, his broad frame blocking the end of the aisle. Around us, shoppers have started to pause, their carts coming to a halt as they sense the tension rippling through the air. A mother nearby pulls her own toddler closer, whispering something I can't hear, while an older couple exchanges uneasy glances. The store's PA system crackles to life overhead, the manager's voice booming. "Attention all customers, please remain where you are. Security, close the exit doors." A mechanical click echoes from the front, the sliding doors sealing shut, and my stomach churns. Whatever this is, we're all locked in now. The girl's whisper comes again, softer this time, her lips brushing my ear. "Why did you leave me?" It hits me harder than before, a pang of empathy mixing with confusion. I've never abandoned anyone, never had a family to walk away from, but her pain feels real, raw, like a wound that's been festering. "Sweetheart, I'm not who you think I am," I murmur, rubbing her back in slow circles, the way I do with my students when they're upset over a ruined painting. Her sandals dangle loosely, one strap slipping off her heel, and I notice a faint bruise on her knee, like from a recent fall. Maybe she's just scared, lost in the crowd, but the man's presence complicates everything. He watches us with unblinking eyes, his jaw tight. "Stop lying," he mutters. "You can't run this time." I glance around for help, spotting a uniformed employee stocking shelves nearby, but he's frozen, unsure. The air smells sharper now, the bakery's warmth clashing with the cold sweat breaking on my skin. My phone is still in my purse, but reaching for it means setting the girl down, and I can't bring myself to do that yet. She's clinging like a lifeline, her pigtails tickling my chin. "Let's find the store employees," I say to her gently, trying to ease us both toward the end of the aisle opposite the man, but he moves to intercept, his footsteps heavy on the linoleum. "She's my ex-wife," he announces loudly, drawing more attention. Heads turn, phones come out, and I feel the weight of their stares. "She disappeared with my daughter 5 years ago. She's been hiding under another name." This is kidnapping. The words slice through me, absurd and terrifying. I've lived in Springfield my whole life. Taught at the high school for a decade, painted local landscapes at the farmer's market on weekends. Marriage? A child? It's not my story, but his conviction makes it sound plausible to strangers. The girl lifts her head slightly, her blue eyes meeting mine again, filled with a silent plea. "Arrest her," the man continues, his voice rising. I shake my head, my voice firm. "That's insane. I've never been married to you, and I've never met your daughter. You're making up a story." But doubt creeps into the onlookers' faces. I see it in the way a woman clutches her purse tighter, how a man whispers to his companion. The security guards are approaching now, one from each end of the store, their radios crackling. The taller one positions himself near the bakery, the other by the entrance, both watching us warily. My mind races, piecing together options. I could shout for the manager, demand the police, but the lockdown has everyone on edge. The girl's arms tighten around my neck, her shallow breaths warm against my skin. "Honey, I'm not your mom," I whisper to her again. "I promise we're going to get you to your real family." She doesn't respond, but her grip doesn't slacken. The man laughs bitterly. "Her real family is me, and you're not taking her anywhere." More people gather, their murmurs building like a storm. I feel exposed, vulnerable, the fluorescent light's too harsh on my face. My sweater feels constricting, the jeans sticking to my legs from the sudden heat of anxiety. I pull my phone from my purse with one hand, fingers shaking as I open the camera and hit record. "My name is Rachel Lynon," I say clearly, loud enough for the growing crowd. "I do not know this man or this child. I am being accused of something I did not do. I want law enforcement here now." The man smirks, but his eyes dart to the phone. You think filming this is going to save you? I turn the camera toward him. Yes, because I have nothing to hide. That's when a familiar voice cuts through from behind. Rachel, is that you? I turn, relief flooding me as I see Mr. Turner, a retired police officer and old friend of my mother's, holding a basket of apples. His brow furrows as he takes in the scene. What's going on here? He asks, stepping closer. The man points at me accusingly. She kidnapped my daughter. You're looking at a fugitive. Mr. Turner's eyes narrow. That's not true. I've known Rachel since she was a teenager. She's lived here her whole life. Who are you? The tension thickens, the air heavy with unspoken questions. The man straightens, thrown off but not backing down. I'm her husband. She's lying to everyone. Mr. Turner positions himself between us, his voice commanding. That's enough. Derek, get the police on the line and tell them I'm here. I'll stay until they arrive. The store manager, a heavy-set man named Derek, nods and speaks into his radio. I keep recording, my hands steadier now with Mr. Turner here. The girl shifts slightly, her head resting heavier on my shoulder. The waiting begins, each second stretching, the man's glare burning into me like he's plotting his next move. The store feels like a cage now, the locked doors and crackling radios amplifying the weight of the man's accusations. His words, calling me his ex-wife, a kidnapper, hang in the air, sharp and heavy, as the crowd's eyes bore into me. I'm still holding the little girl, her small body warm against mine, her pigtails brushing my cheek as she clings tighter. My phone records everything, the red dot blinking steadily, capturing the man's unyielding stare and the shopper's growing murmurs. Mr. Turner stands firm beside me, his presence a lifeline, but the doubt in the onlookers' faces stings like a betrayal. I'm Rachel Lynon, a teacher who paints landscapes and lives on Meadow Lane, not some fugitive. Yet the man's certainty, his cold conviction, makes my ordinary life feel like a flimsy defense against his story. You can't talk your way out of this, he says, his voice low, almost taunting, as he folds his arms and leans slightly forward. He's close enough that I can see the creases in his plaid shirt, the faint stubble on his jaw. I want to step back, but the girl's grip anchors me, her fingers digging into my sweater like she's afraid I'll vanish. I'm not trying to talk my way out of anything, I reply, keeping my tone even. I'm telling the truth. You're the one who needs to explain yourself. The security guard near the bakery shifts closer, his radio spitting static, while the other guard by the entrance watches us with narrowed eyes. The manager, Derek, hovers nearby, his hands fidgeting as he glances between us, clearly unsure who to believe. The girl lifts her head, her blue eyes meeting mine again. Don't leave me, she whispers, her voice so soft it's almost lost in the hum of the store. My chest tightens. I don't know her, but her fear is real and it fuels my resolve. I'm right here, I murmur, stroking her back. We're going to figure this out. I turn to the crowd, raising my voice. My name is Rachel Lynon. I teach art at Springfield High. I've never seen this man or this child before today. If anyone here knows me, please say so. A murmur ripples through the shoppers. An older woman near the bread aisle hesitates, then nods. I've seen her at the farmer's market, she says quietly. She sells those pretty paintings. Relief flickers, but it's fleeting. The man's story still holds too much sway. He laughs, a sharp, bitter sound. Nice try, Rachel. You always were good at playing innocent. The way he says my name sends a shiver through me, like he's claiming a piece of me I never gave. I point the phone at him, steadying my hand. If you know my name, it's then you know you're lying. You have no proof, because there is none. Mr. Turner steps forward, his voice cutting through. Sir, do you have any legal documents to back this up? Because you're accusing her of a federal crime and you'd better have evidence. The man's jaw tightens, but he doesn't answer, his eyes flicking to the security guards as if expecting them to side with him. They don't move, their faces unreadable. The air feels heavier now, the bakery's warm bread scent mixing with the sharp tang of my own nervous sweat. Shoppers are filming too, their phones glinting under the fluorescent lights, turning this into a public spectacle. A teenager in a hoodie holds his phone high, capturing every word, while a woman near the dairy section whispers to her husband, shaking her head. I feel their judgment, the way they're weighing his story against mine, and it makes my skin prickle. I want to scream that I'm innocent, but I know better. Losing control would only make me look guilty. Instead, I keep the phone steady and speak again, louder. I'm staying right here until the police arrive. I have nothing to hide. The man's smirk fades, just for a moment, and I catch a flicker of unease in his eyes. Maybe he didn't expect me to fight back so openly, to turn his accusation into a public challenge. Mr. Turner leans closer to me, his voice low. "Keep that camera on, Rachel. Don't let him control this." I nod, my grip tightening on the phone. The girl shifts in my arms, her sandals slipping further, and I adjust her weight, feeling her shallow breaths against my neck. I glance at the security guard by the bakery. "How long until the police get here?" He checks his radio. "A few minutes," he says, avoiding my gaze. Every second feels like an eternity, the man's presence like a storm cloud ready to break. I turn to the crowd again, my voice carrying. "If anyone knows this man or this child, please speak up now. The police need to know the truth." A few shoppers shift uncomfortably, but no one responds. The man's eyes narrow, his hands balling into fists at his sides. "You think you're smart," he mutters. "You won't slip away this time." I don't flinch, holding his gaze through the phone's screen. I'm not slipping anywhere. I'm standing here, waiting for the truth to come out. The sound of sirens begins to hum faintly outside, growing louder, and the girl stirs, her head lifting slightly. The man's eyes dart to the entrance, his posture stiffening. I tighten my hold on the girl, determined to keep her safe until those sirens bring answers. The sirens grow louder, slicing through the hum of the store, but they're still too far to bring relief. I'm standing in the cereal aisle, the little girl's arms locked around my neck, her shallow breaths warm against my skin. My phone's camera is still recording, the red dot a small anchor in this storm of accusations. The man's words, calling me a kidnapper, his ex-wife, have burrowed into the crowd's minds, and I can feel their stares shifting, some curious, others suspicious. The fluorescent lights cast harsh shadows, making the aisle feel like a stage where I'm the unwilling lead. Mr. Turner stays close, his steady presence grounding me, but the man's unblinking gaze burns, his plaid shirt wrinkled like he's been running on desperation. He's only a few feet away, arms still folded, his smirk gone but his certainty unshaken. I want to believe the police will sort this out, but the weight of the moment presses harder with every second. "I've never met you," I say again, my voice clear, aimed at both him and the onlookers. "My name is Rachel Lynon. I live on Meadow Lane. I teach at Springfield High. This is a mistake." I hold the phone higher, capturing his face, the crowd, the locked doors in the distance. The girl stirs, her pigtails brushing my cheek, and whispers, "Don't let him take me." Her words hit like a punch, quiet but heavy with fear. I glance down at her, those wide blue eyes pleading, and my resolve hardens. "I won't," I murmur, stroking her back. "You're safe with me." But safe feels fragile when the store feels like a trap, the air thick with the scent of warm bread and the sharp edge of my own anxiety. The man steps closer, ignoring Mr. Turner's warning look. "You're good at this, Rachel," he says, his tone mocking but laced with something unsteady. "Acting like you're innocent. But I found you." His words make no sense. I've never hidden, never run, but they land like blows, feeding the crowd's doubt. A woman nearby whispers to her companion, her eyes flicking to me, and I feel the sting of their judgment. "I'm not acting," I snap, louder now. "I'm telling the truth. Where's your proof?" He hesitates, just for a split second, and I seize it. "You don't have any, do you? Because this isn't real." The security guard by the bakery shifts, his radio crackling, but he doesn't intervene, his gaze darting between us. Mr. Turner speaks up, his voice sharp. "You're making serious claims, sir? If you've got nothing to back them up, you're in trouble." The man's jaw tightens, but he doesn't respond, his eyes locked on me like he's waiting for me to crack. "I won't." I turn to the crowd, my phone still recording. "If anyone here knows me, please say something. I'm not who he says I am." The older woman from the farmer's market nods again, louder this time. "She's the artist," she says. "I've bought her paintings. She's local." Another voice, a man near the frozen foods, chimes in. "I've seen her at the high school. My kid's in her class." Small victories, but they shift the air slightly, easing the pressure on my chest. I decide to push further. I switch my phone to live stream, the viewer count ticking up as I speak. "This is Rachel Lynon, live from Springfield Market. This man is accusing me of kidnapping this child. I don't know him or her. The police are coming, and I want the truth out there. Comments start popping up, some supportive, others confused, but it's a lifeline, a way to make this moment undeniable. The man's eyes narrow, his fingers twitching like he wants to grab the phone. "You think that's going to save you?" he says, but there's a crack in his voice now, a hint of doubt. Mr. Turner steps between us. "Stay back," he warns, his tone leaving no room for argument. The manager, Derek, clears his throat. "Rachel, maybe you should wait in my office until the police get here." I shake my head, my voice firm. "No, if I leave, he'll twist this further. I'm staying where everyone can see me." The girl's grip tightens, her sandals slipping off one foot entirely now, dangling loosely. I adjust her weight, feeling the ache in my arms but refusing to let go. The sirens are closer, their wail sharp through the glass doors, but the man doesn't flinch. He's watching me, calculating, like he's planned every move. "You're scaring her," I say to him, my voice low but cutting. "If you care about this child, stop this now." His lips press into a thin line, but he doesn't answer. The crowd's murmurs grow louder, some filming, others whispering. A teenager's phone glints, capturing the scene, and I know this is bigger than the store now. It's a public trial, and I'm fighting to be heard. The security guard's radio crackles again. "Police are 1 minute out," he says, glancing at me for the first time. I nod, keeping the phone steady, the live stream still running. "If anyone watching knows this man or this girl, call the Springfield police now," I say to the stream. The man's eyes flick to the entrance, his posture stiffening, and I catch a flicker of something new. Nervousness, maybe? The girl's breathing slows slightly, her head heavy on my shoulder, like she's clinging to the hope that help is near. I lock eyes with the man, my voice unwavering. "When the police get here, we'll see who's telling the truth. And I'm not afraid of it." His stare falters, just for a moment, and I know I've struck something. The sirens roar closer, and I hold the girl tighter, ready to face whatever comes next. The sirens wail sharply now, piercing the thick glass of the locked doors, and the little girl's body tenses in my arms, her small fingers clutching my sweater like it's the only thing keeping her grounded. The crowd stirs, carts shifting as people crane their necks toward the entrance, but the man doesn't budge, his eyes still fixed on me with that cold calculation. My phone's live stream is running, the viewer count climbing steadily. Strangers watching this unfold in real time, their comments flashing across the screen in a blur of support and questions. Mr. Turner stands like a shield beside me, his retired cop instincts sharp, his basket of apples forgotten on a nearby shelf. He's known me since I was a kid helping my mom in her garden, and his confidence cuts through the chaos like a steady hand on the wheel. "Rachel's no kidnapper," he says loudly, turning to the crowd. "I've watched her grow up in this town, she's as honest as they come." The man snorts, his arms unfolding as he takes a half step forward, but Mr. Turner blocks him effortlessly. "You say she's your ex-wife? Prove it. Show us some ID, custody papers, anything." The words hang there, challenging, and the man's face flushes, his jaw working like he's chewing on a response he doesn't have. I feel a small shift in the air, the crowd's murmurs softening as doubt turns back toward him. The older woman from the farmer's market speaks up again, her voice firmer. "She's right, I've bought her art for years. This doesn't add up." Another shopper, a father with a cart full of diapers, nods. "My daughter's in her art class. Miss Lynon's always been great with kids." Their words are like lifelines, pulling me from the edge of isolation, and I nod gratefully, keeping the phone steady. I adjust the girl on my hip, her sandals now fully slipped off and resting on the floor beside my feet. I notice they're scuffed, like she's been running from something more than just a lost parent. Her breathing has evened out a bit, but her cheek stays pressed against my shoulder, warm and trusting. "Sweetheart, can you tell me your name?" I whisper, hoping to draw her out, to give the crowd and the stream something real. She hesitates, her lips moving silently at first, then murmurs it so quietly only I can hear. "That's a beautiful name," I say gently, loud enough for the phone to catch. "Do you know where your mom is?" Her eyes dart to the man, then away, and she shakes her head, burrowing closer. That silence speaks volumes, and I look up at him. "See? She's scared of you. Whatever you're doing, it's hurting her." The man's eyes flash with anger, but there's a crack in his armor now, his hands clenching at his sides. "You don't know what you're talking about," he mutters, but his voice lacks the earlier bite. Mr. Turner presses. "Then explain it. Why no proof? If this is your daughter, show us." The security guard near the bakery finally steps in, his radio quiet now as he positions himself closer. "Sir, you need to back up," he says, glancing at Derek, the manager, who nods agreement. The crowd is engaged fully, phones out, some whispering encouragements my way. I turn the live stream toward them. "Thank you for speaking up," I say. "This is what community means, standing for the truth." Comments flood in faster. "Stay strong, Rachel, and call the cops quicker." It bolsters me, this digital chorus, making the store feel less like a trap and more like a forum where lies can't hide. I keep talking, my voice steady despite the adrenaline humming in my veins. I'm not running from anything. I've lived here my whole life, taught hundreds of kids, helped my mom through her surgery. This man showed up out of nowhere, and now a child's caught in the middle. The girl shifts, her pigtails tickling my neck, and I rub her back again, feeling the faint tremble in her frame. The bakery's bread scent wafts stronger, clashing with the metallic tang of fear in my mouth. Mr. Turner turns to the man once more. "If you're wrong about this, you're facing charges. False imprisonment, harassment. Think about that." The man's smirk returns, but it's forced, his eyes flicking to the entrance where red and blue lights now flash through the windows. The sirens cut off abruptly, replaced by the mechanical click of the doors unlocking. Two officers push inside, their uniforms crisp, boots thudding on the linoleum as they scan the scene. The taller one, lean with short brown hair, leads, his partner stockier with a gray beard following close. They approach quickly, hands resting near their belts. "What's the situation?" the taller one asks, his voice authoritative but calm. Before I can speak, the man jumps in, pointing at me. "That's my ex-wife. She took my daughter 5 years ago. She's using a fake name, kidnapping." The words spill out, rushed, desperate, but Mr. Turner interrupts firmly. "Officers, that's not true. I'm a retired cop, known Rachel forever." This man's got no proof. I hold the girl closer, her warmth a reminder of why I'm fighting, as the officers turn their eyes to me, ready for my side. The officers weave through the paused carts and curious shoppers, their presence cutting the tension like a knife through fog. The taller one stops a few feet from us, his eyes scanning the scene. The man with his arms folded defiantly, Mr. Turner standing protectively beside me, the little girl still clutched in my arms, her pigtails messy and her yellow sundress rumpled from the ordeal. My phone's live stream is still going, the viewer count surging as comments scroll by, but I lower it slightly, keeping the camera on to capture everything. The gray-bearded officer glances at the girl first, his expression softening. "Ma'am, sir, let's hear what happened," he says, his voice steady, trained for moments like this. The man straightens, pointing at me again. "She's my ex-wife. Kidnapped our daughter 5 years ago. I've been searching everywhere. She's using a false identity. Arrest her now." I shake my head, my voice calm but firm, the adrenaline keeping me sharp. "That's not true. My name is Rachel Lynon. I've lived in Springfield my entire life. I was just shopping when this child ran up to me and hugged me, calling me mommy. I thought she was lost. Then he showed up and started this." The girl shifts in my arms, her small hands loosening just a bit as she peeks at the officers. Her blue eyes are wide, tear-streaked, and I can feel her heart racing against my chest. The taller officer nods, pulling a notebook from his pocket. "All right, let's take this step by step." He turns to the man. "Your name, sir?" The man hesitates for a fraction of a second, then gives it, his tone clipped. "And proof of your claim? Custody papers? Anything?" The man falters, his eyes darting. "I don't have them here, but she's mine. Look at her, she knows me." Mr. Turner steps forward, his retired badge almost visible in his authoritative stance. "Officers, I'm a former cop in this town. Rachel's no stranger, she's a teacher here. This guy's story doesn't hold water. No documents, no evidence." The gray-bearded officer kneels slightly to the girl's level. "Sweetheart, can you tell us your name?" She whispers it, her voice trembling, the same one she told me earlier. "Good job," he says gently. "Now, do you know this woman holding you?" The girl looks up at me, her lips quivering, then shakes her head slowly. "She's not my mommy," she says, her words clear enough for the crowd to hear. "She just looks like her." A collective gasp ripples through the shoppers, murmurs building as phones capture the moment. The man's face pales, his fists clenching tighter. She's lying. She's scared, he insists, but his voice cracks. The taller officer's expression hardens as he pulls a tablet from his belt, typing quickly. And this man? Do you know him? The girl nods hesitantly. He's my daddy, but Mommy said to stay away. The words hang heavy, and I feel a surge of protectiveness, holding her closer. The officer straightens, exchanging a glance with his partner. Sir, we're going to need to verify this. Any ID? The man produces a wallet reluctantly, handing over a driver's license. As the gray-bearded officer radios it in, the taller one turns back to me. Ma'am, your ID? I shift the girl to one hip, fishing my wallet from my purse with my free hand. Here, and I can give you references. My principal at the high school, my mom nearby. He nods, scanning it quickly. The store's air feels electric now, the bakery scent fading under the weight of anticipation. Minutes stretch as the radio crackles with a response. The taller officer's face shifts, his eyes narrowing at the man. Sir, there's an active restraining order against you filed by your ex-wife. You're not allowed within 100 yards of the child or her mother. The man's flush deepens to red, his posture crumbling. That's a lie. She's manipulating everything. This woman is helping her hide. He jabs a finger toward me, but the officers step in, the gray-bearded one positioning himself between us. I've never met his ex-wife, I say firmly. You've got the wrong person. I was just trying to help this little girl. The crowd's whispers turn to outright chatter, some nodding in agreement, the teenager still filming with wide eyes. Mr. Turner crosses his arms. Told you, check his record further. There might be more. The taller officer taps his tablet again, his brow furrowing. History of violations, including harassment. Sir, you're in breach right now. The man backs up a step, his eyes wild. You can't do this, she's my kid. But the officer's tone leaves no room. Hands behind your back. He resists briefly, shoulders tensing, but the gray-bearded officer assists, cuffing him with a sharp click that echoes in the aisle. The girl buries her face in my shoulder again, her body relaxing slightly as if sensing the shift. I rub her back, murmuring, It's okay now. You're safe. The manager, Derek, exhales audibly, unlocking the doors with a remote, the mechanical whir signaling freedom. Shoppers begin to disperse, but many linger, their faces a mix of relief and curiosity. From the back of the store, a woman's voice calls out the girl's name, frantic and breaking. Everyone turns as she rushes down the aisle, a woman in her early 30s, dark blonde hair and a loose braid, her face pale with worry. She drops to her knees as the gray-bearded officer gently takes the girl from my arms and sets her down. The child runs into her embrace, the hug fierce and tearful. I'm so sorry, baby, the mother whispers, rocking her. I'm here. The officer explains softly, he violated the order, we'll handle it. The mother nods, tears streaming, then looks up at me, gratitude shining through. Thank you for keeping her safe. I shake my head, my voice thick. I'm just glad she's with you. The man is led away, his glare lingering but powerless now, as the store's rhythm slowly resumes. The mother's arms wrap around the little girl like a shield, their embrace tight and unyielding in the middle of the cereal aisle. Tears stream down the woman's face, her loose braid falling forward as she rocks her daughter gently, whispering reassurances I can't quite hear. The girl clings back, her small hands fisting in her mother's shirt, the yellow sundress, now twisted from the chaos. The officers stand nearby, the taller one speaking quietly into his radio, while the gray-bearded one keeps a watchful eye on the cuffed man, who's being led toward the exit. His footsteps echo heavily, his head down, but he shoots one last glare over his shoulder. At me. At the mother. At the child he claimed as his. The click of the handcuffs still lingers in my ears, a final punctuation to his lies. The store's fluorescent lights seem softer now, the tension easing as shoppers begin to move again, carts rolling tentatively, conversations resuming in hushed tones. I stand there, my arms feeling strangely empty without the girl's weight, my green sweater stretched from her grip. Mr. Turner places a hand on my shoulder, his touch steadying. You did good, Rachel, he says, his voice low but proud. Kept your head, protected that kid. I nod, the adrenaline starting to fade, leaving a hollow ache in its wake. The mother looks up then, her eyes red-rimmed but filled with a fierce gratitude. She stands, holding the girl on her hip much like I had, and approaches me. "I don't know how to thank you," she says, her voice trembling. "If you hadn't been here, if you'd taken her." She trails off, swallowing hard. The girl peeks out, giving me a shy wave, her blue eyes clearer now, less shadowed by fear. "You kept her safe when I couldn't. We're new in town, trying to start over, but he found us somehow." I shake my head, my throat tight. "I'm just glad she's okay. She was so brave." The woman reaches out, squeezing my hand briefly, her palm warm and calloused. "You were brave too, standing up to him like that, with everyone watching. It could have gone so wrong." Nearby, the manager, Derek, unlocks the last of the protocols, the PA system announcing that the store is resuming normal operations. Shoppers disperse more fully, some casting lingering glances my way. Nods of respect from a few, averted eyes from others who perhaps feel guilty for doubting me earlier. The bakery's warm bread scent returns stronger, comforting, as if the store is exhaling after holding its breath. My cart sits abandoned a few feet away, the bananas slightly bruised from the weight, but it feels trivial now, this interrupted errand. The gray-bearded officer approaches us, his notebook tucked away. "Ma'am," he says to the mother, "we'll need your statement, but he's in custody now. Violation of the restraining order, plus false accusations. We'll sort it out at the station." She nods, hugging the girl closer. "Thank you. We've been running for so long, I thought we'd be safe here." Turning back to me, she adds, "If there's anything I can do..." "My name's Emily. Here's my number." She scribbles it on a receipt from her pocket, pressing it into my hand. "Please, call if you need anything. You feel like family after this." The girl smiles faintly, whispering, "Thank you, lady," before burying her face again. I pocket the number, touched by the gesture, as they follow the officer toward a quieter corner to give their account. Mr. Turner picks up his basket of apples, the fruit rolling slightly. "Come on, Rachel. Let's get you checked out. You look like you could use a breather." I push my cart forward, the wheels squeaking on the linoleum, gathering the rest of my items mechanically. Oatmeal, milk, a few forgotten essentials. At the register, the cashier scans slowly, her eyes wide with quiet admiration. "I saw it all," she says softly. "You handled that like a pro. Not many would." I manage a small smile, paying with shaking hands, the receipt crinkling in my palm. Outside, the sunlight spills bright and welcoming, the sirens long gone, replaced by the normal hum of traffic. Mr. Turner insists on walking me to my car, loading the bags himself. "Tell your mom I said hi," he says, clapping me on the back. "And Rachel, proud of you. You didn't just defend yourself, you saved that girl from who knows what." As I drive away, the store shrinking in my rear view, I feel the day's weight settling differently, not crushing, but clarifying. The green fields of Springfield roll by familiar and steady, but I know something's changed. That hug in the aisle, those accusations, the truth fighting its way out, it's etched now, a reminder that ordinary moments can demand extraordinary courage. My mother's house comes into view, her figure at the window waving, oblivious yet to the story I'll soon share. I park, gathering the bags, ready to recount it all, the echoes of gratitude still warming me against the chill of what almost was. The drive to my mother's house feels longer than usual, the familiar streets of Springfield blurring past as I replay the morning's events in my mind. The sun filters through the trees, casting dappled shadows on the dashboard, but my hands still tremble slightly on the wheel. Mr. Turner's words echo, "Proud of you, saved that girl," and they settle some of the unease, but not all. I pull into the driveway, the gravel crunching under my tires, and see my mom at the window, her wave turning to a frown as she reads my expression. I grab the grocery bags, the plastic handles digging into my palms, and step inside, the scent of her chamomile tea welcoming me like always. "Rachel, what's wrong?" she asks immediately, hobbling over on her cane, her knee still bandaged from the surgery. I set the bags on the counter, bananas tumbling out, and sink into a chair, the weight of the day crashing down. I tell her everything, starting from the little girl's hug in the cereal aisle, her whispered "mommy" that twisted my heart, to the man's accusations that turned the store into a nightmare. I described the lockdown, the crowd's stares, how I recorded and live-streamed to fight back, Mr. Turner's timely intervention, and the police uncovering the truth. The restraining order, the arrest. My mom's hands clasp mine as I speak, her eyes widening at the details. The girl's fear, her sandals slipping off, the mother's tearful reunion. "Oh, honey," she says when I finish, pulling me into a hug. "You could have been in real danger, but you stood up, spoke the truth. That took guts." We sit there, sipping tea, the kitchen clock ticking softly, and she shares stories from her nursing days, times when quick thinking saved lives. It helps, grounding me, reminding me that crises pass, but choices linger. As the afternoon wears on, I help with chores, folding laundry, watering her plants, the routine soothing the edges of my nerves. My phone buzzes occasionally, notifications from the live stream, messages of support from locals, even a few students saying they saw it and are glad I'm okay. One from the principal checks in, offering the day off if needed. But it's the unfamiliar number that stops me. A text from Emily, the mother. "Rachel, it's Emily from the store. Laya slept through nap time without nightmares. You've given us peace we haven't had in years. Thank you for being her guardian angel today. If you ever want to meet for coffee, we're here." Attached is a photo, the girl smiling shyly, holding a daisy from her dress pattern, her pigtails neater now. Tears prick my eyes. I reply, "I'm so relieved she's safe. Coffee sounds wonderful." It feels like closure, a thread connecting us beyond the chaos. That evening, alone in my kitchen, I unpack the groceries slowly, the oatmeal box reminding me of where it all started. The house is quiet, the sunset painting the walls golden, and I sit at the table, journaling the day. Not just the fear, but the strength I found. Speaking up wasn't easy. Silence would have been simpler, letting the police handle it. But in that aisle, with the girl's arms around me and lies filling the air, I realized truth needs a voice, or it gets drowned out. I think of the crowd shifting, witnesses stepping forward, the man's facade cracking under scrutiny. It could have ended differently, if I'd backed down, if Mr. Turner hadn't appeared, but it didn't. One choice rippled. Protecting a child, exposing a threat, reaffirming my place in this community. The next morning, I wake to birdsong, the world feeling steadier. At school, colleagues whisper about the video circulating, but their pats on the back feel genuine, not pitying. A student hands me a drawing, a woman in a green sweater holding a little girl, captioned, "Hero Teacher." It makes me laugh, lightening the memory. Emily texts again, sharing that charges are sticking against her ex, thanks to the store footage and my recording. "You made sure the truth was heard," she writes. I smile, pocketing my phone, and head to the farmer's market, setting up my landscape paintings under the tent. Locals stop by, some mentioning the incident, others just buying art, but there's a new warmth in their greetings. That day taught me life's fragility, how a hug can unravel routines, but also resilience, the power of one voice cutting through deception. If it happens again, I won't hesitate. Truth isn't passive, it's a fight worth winning. As the days blended into weeks, the sharp edges of that Saturday morning softened, like a painting left to dry under gentle light. I found myself lingering longer at my mother's, our conversations drifting from chores to deeper reflections on trust and unexpected turns. Emily and I met for coffee one quiet afternoon, Laya playing nearby with crayons I brought, her laughter a soft melody that healed something in all of us. She drew a picture of 3 figures holding hands, me, her mom, and herself, and whispered, "You're my friend now." It was simple, yet profound. A reminder that connections forged in crisis could bloom into something enduring. The community wrapped around me too, with small gestures. A neighbor's wave, a student's note of admiration, even Mr. Turner stopping by with apples from his tree. The live stream faded from feeds, but its lesson stayed. Speaking up had not only cleared my name but shielded a vulnerable soul. I painted more, capturing Springfield's fields in hues of hope, each brushstroke a whisper of gratitude for the strength I discovered within. In quiet moments, as evening light faded, I'd think of how close we'd come to a different ending, and feel a gentle peace settle. Life resumed its rhythm, predictable yet enriched, teaching that truth, when voiced with courage, echoes far beyond the moment. And in that echo, we find our way home.